that you've seen this quarter? You had crude derivatives going up, logistics costs going up. How did you manage all those costs?
Good morning. Thanks for having me on this show. As you rightly said, the starting of this or beginning of this quarter was very challenging in terms of when the raw material prices were going up, the export becoming the challenges in terms of freights and the availability of container. So in this, what we did, the raw material impact were passed down into the market, and the price was quite fluctuating. So we passed down two times the impact to the market and reduce one time also when the prices was little bit softened in terms of that. In terms of exports, we did pass on the additional export or the freight hike to the market to some extent, and some extent borne by the company. But I'll say that so it's quite challenging towards end of quarter. The availability of container was a huge challenge in terms of that. That is postponed close to our 25-30 crore of export, which has been pushed to next quarter.
And Ashok, wanted to understand if it's impacting the volumes as well at all, this freight hike cost which you're having to pass off?
Yeah, it is. It is in terms of that the even though we got the orders, but we could not able to ship it. So which means the revenue in this quarter is lower. And once unless until these goods reaches to the customer, so the new flow of orders will get impacted to some extent in terms of that. But we are hopeful that this is more of a short term in nature, and we should be able to quickly come back to the growth phase.
Do you see further rate hike or price hikes coming in the second quarter? And is the market able to absorb this kind of hike as well?
No, we don't foresee the further hikes in the current quarter. In fact, the raw material prices were corrected towards the beginning of the June. Of course, some bit of movement again seen towards the beginning of the July when the war has again started. But prices has cooled down post that also. We don't foresee the prices to go up from here in terms of that.
Also, give us a sense of the kind of margin levers that you have, and you're looking at 18+% of top line growth in FY27. Is that intact? And do you see a growth to be pushed to the second half of the year?
In fact, if you see in the first quarter also, we did grow at 18.2%, and we believe that we will be able to continue the momentum. Apart from the laminate, which is growing steady state, of course, because of export, there is some challenge in the quarter one, but going forward, it should be good. But the new segment like chipboard and plywood, they are doing good. In fact, in the chipboard for the first quarter, we turned into EBITDA positive, and we are hopeful from here we will be able to continue the momentum, and that can bring more revenue as well as to the bottom line also.
How did you manage your working capital cycle in this entire scenario? Have you been able to bring in more efficiencies in the working capital?
Working capital, in fact, it is a bit stretched at this moment because, as I said, that we have produced but could not able to ship in terms of that, and some of the payments are until the material reaches, then the payment get delayed. So I think working capital is a bit stretched. Even after that, we could able to improve in comparison to previous year, but we believe that situation should improve in the quarter two.
So if I could just go back to chipboard as well, wanted to understand when is it that we should expect some improvement in margins for this segment?
In fact, if you see the chipboard, the growth is happening on a quarter-on-quarter basis. In the very first year, in the 5 quarter, we reach up to 61% of capacity utilization. And this is the first quarter in which we have done the EBITDA positive within 4-5 quarters. And we believe from here, the further growth will be there, and the margin will improve from here.
Ashok, you are penciling in a growth of over 18%. Laminate expected to grow 10 to 12% top line. How do you manage the margins in this current scenario? Do you have enough inventories in place? As you said, some of the raw material prices have eased off towards in June. Do you see what is the kind of outlook you have on those prices?
So we believe that the raw material prices from here, there is not much upside which we see from here. And in the past also, whenever there is a huge movement in the raw material prices, that has passed into the market by us and by all the major players, and that is accepted by the market because at the fair level, we whenever there is increase only, that is passed on into the market. So we believe we will be able to maintain the margin for the laminate segment. See, the raw material price hike has been passed on into the market.
Right. Okay, Ashok, great to have you today on the show. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you. Thank you.